Hello everyone and welcome back to my gardens. This is Melody from Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. I am going to tackle blight. I wanted to make sure that I discuss that due to some new people, some new gardeners. It's just something that I learned about. Blight. Blight is something that can discolor the leaves. It can actually kill your tomato plants. There's a couple ways to try to avoid getting blight in your tomato plants. As you can see, I don't know if you can actually tell, we just got done having a pretty big storm here. It poured, it was windy. There's not much you can do when your garden gets soaked from Mother Nature, that's fine. But one way to prevent blight, and don't mind me, let me try to scoot over here. Let me see if I bend you down. If you can see the leaves right here at the tomato plant, you don't want to let your tomato plant leaves, I have a lot of tomato plants in this raised bed, you want to take the bottoms of the leaves that are literally touching the dirt off. If they touch the dirt and the water hits it, it can then lead into blight that way. Another thing that took me a good little bit to learn was how to properly water your tomato plants so that you don't get blight. So my suggestions to the new gardeners is to never water your tomato plants from up above. Always water them from the root. They say morning, later at night to water your gardens. A lot of people say that. I noticed a huge difference in my garden last year when I watered everything directly from the base of the tomato plant. So, if you do that and don't spray from above, if it's done at night, which is recommended, the water sits and it stays on the plant. And that could be a good cause for blight. Like I just said, your lower leaves that are on the bottom. I'm single stemming my tomato plants, so let me take this off. I don't want any leaves close to the bottom. Actually, looks like a separate tomato plant right there. I don't want any leaves close to the bottom where it can touch the dirt. So you very gently just pull them off now while they're young. Just make sure they're not laying in the dirt like that, because you will see your tomato plants drastically change if you let the leaves touch the dirt. Let me move you over to this plant for an example. Let me show you this. Let me see. I'm going to back you up. Or maybe I shouldn't. Okay, let's try it this way. I don't know if you can see this, but look at this leaf right here. It's touching the ground. Prime example of getting the stem off of your tomato plant when it is literally touching the ground like that. It's a good way to invite some pests and diseases. And that's my suggestion. That's how I handle blight. I don't ever water from above. I water from down below. And I always make sure that I take off all the lower leaves off of my tomato plants so that they're not going like that and touching the dirt. So hopefully that's informative to you. I mean, it took me a while to learn. And last year, I spoke on this before. I was picking tomatoes into November. I only had 1 or 2 tomato plants on the opposite side of my garden that had a tiny bit of blight, but I took the discolored leaves off and I paid a little bit more close attention to that tomato plant and just monitored it as best as possible. And I really didn't suffer any blight last year. This tomato plant over here is a Timmy toe, however they say that. This is my first time ever growing this type of indeterminate tomato. Let me see if I can put the legs back up on the tripod so I can sit you down a little bit more comfortably. Okay. Let's take a look at the tag. It says Tiny Tim, so hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, let me know. As you see, the leaf is completely on the ground. So you just want to go in, no matter what kind of tomato plant it is, and take the lower leaves, which this one is dragging on the ground as well. Just use your fingernails or use a clipper to get them off. I didn't bring clippers with me today. And just pull these leaves off of there. Even though this is a tomato plant that I'm not very familiar with, I'm going to treat it the way that I treat every other tomato plant. I'm trying to single stem them, and I don't want the leaves laying on the ground. I'm not trying to entice infection or any type of blight onto my tomato plants. I just come in and I just take my finger and I just pick it right off. So that is today's video, all about blight. Remove your lower leaves on your tomato plants. Do not water from above, water from the root down below. And if you possibly see a discolored leaf, you can very easily go in and remove it so it doesn't spread to the rest of the plant. That is my suggestion. Single stemming your tomato plants is just easier all the way around, I think anyway. You'll get more tomatoes than you will the leafy greens. That's not the object of growing tomatoes. So that is today's video. Let me show you this before I hop off. Can you see this? Let's see if I can get you to see this. I know there's a shadow, but this is exactly my point. We just had a bad storm here, and the leaves to this tomato plant are lying on the ground. You want to just go in like such, be gentle, and just pull the lower leaves right off. And that'll give the stem more air, just overall better for the health of your tomatoes. So that's what I'm going to be doing for a little bit, and that's picking off the lower leaves out of 2 beds. There's a bed over there. I have a tomato plant that's completely toppled over from the storm. But that is today's video. Let's talk about blight. Again, just pull off all the lower leaves of your tomato plants. Don't let them touch the dirt is one of my big suggestions. And don't water from up above. Water from the actual root. If they're thirsty, give them water. I do try to do in the morning, early evening. I really don't like water sitting on my tomato plants in general. So, I wouldn't say like evening. I would say probably 5, 6 o'clock, the latest. I would water my tomato plants because I don't want the water to just sit on the plant overnight. So there's just a few suggestions on how do I handle blight. I wanted to make this a topic, with the gardening, to try to help out some of our new gardeners out there. It's a great way to get very healthy tomato plants, less disease going on. And that's what I do. So don't water from up above, and single stem your tomato plants. Make sure the leaves don't touch the dirt, and your tomatoes should look fabulous this season. So thank you everyone for joining me. I really hope that this was helpful to you. And protect your baby tomato plants, and love you guys. Subscribe, smash the like button, and if you're new here, take a look at the videos. Feel free to subscribe if you like, and God bless, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye everyone.